Good morning, viewers. Welcome to The Insight. Remember, The Insight is where we extract the heartbeat of politics, issues, newspaper headlines, happenings, policies that shape our nation. And we'll bring you experts, analysts, policymakers, men and women who have lived, formulated these policies. They've experienced it, they've shaped it, and they are still living it. Men who are willing to speak about it. And most importantly, the views from you, our fans, our viewers from the street. And today, we've landed the big masquerade with us. We are with the one and only Chief Honorable Ray Nnaji, former National Auditor of the PDP, former Commissioner for Sports, and former Chairman, Kano West Local Government Area of Enugu State. Barrister.
It's a pleasure.
It's finally a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, Barrister. Without wasting much time, let's get into it.
Yes.
Let me have your assessment of democracy in Nigeria through this dispensation.
Yes. Democracy in Nigeria, if I should go back to the records, started in 1960.
Okay.
But was truncated because of the military coup.
Okay.
And eventually, the war followed suit. And as a result of that, the avoidable war between Nigeria and Biafra, at the end of the day, the war ended after 3 years plus. And as a result of that, the military now continued. And then in 1979, they handed over power to civilian government. Luckily, Sheikh Shagari was the person who took over the mantle. And as at that time, he served for some years, about 5 years plus, because he came back after his tenure has ended in 1993. There was another election that brought him in, which was said to have been characterized with a lot of problems. Shagari came first, and Alex Ekume was his vice. Awolowo came second, and Zik third. So at the end of the day, there was an alliance between the MPN then, that was the leading party, and the MPP, led by Nnamdi Azikiwe. But that second term did not actually last, because in 1983, the military came in by Buhari, late Mohammed Buhari. And after 2 years of Buhari, there was disagreement among themselves, the coup plotters, which led to the overthrow of Buhari. Then the only president, military president, IBB, Ibrahim Barr, Badamusa Buhari, Babangida, came in and lasted for 8 years. But within that period of his stay, he was actually manipulating, let me use the word, the democratic system, trying to see if he can actually bring in democracy. Because there was pressure on them that the military has overstayed their welcome. And as a result of that, he managed to bring in 5 political parties at then. Eventually, 2, the best he did was 2, Social Democratic Party and the National Republican Convention, which actually he now conducted the election in 1993, of which late MK Abiola was said to be the winner. Eventually, when he wrote his book recently, he now declared that he was the winner, though Buhari actually recognized that fact. But unfortunately, the winner is no longer to be seen. The only thing they are doing for him is post-mortem. So that democracy did not last because the military refused to hand over to even call the result. Professor Hans Wolf, who was in charge of Aneke, but though it wasn't called Aneke as at then, was bamboozled not to recall the result. Even we were meant to understand that he was totally beaten. And as a result of that, the result was not called. All these people are late. Then Abacha came in through a military coup after IBB has stepped aside and brought in Shoneko as an interim government. But Shoneko didn't last because Abacha now was very interested in being in leadership. He now overthrew him. And he continued. It was during the time of Abacha that I was local government chairman. And that first election of local government experiment he wanted to make started. That was 1997. That election was beautiful. Unlike what we are seeing now. Issues were being the order of the day. The issue of manipulation, the issue of rigging, the issue of all this, they are not there. You just go into the field, convince the people, and go for the vote. Incidentally, Abacha seems not to be interested in going out, even if he was ready to set up the structures down the line. Because there was a 1 million man march organized, of which all of us were told to mobilize to Abuja, and all of us went.
You mobilized?
Yes, I did. I won't tell you lies, and I was there. I mobilized my local government, and we went to Abuja for a 1 million man march that Abacha is doing well. Was doing well, without knowing that the man actually was siphoning our money, because he was not even giving us enough allocation. Most of the local government find it difficult to pay salary. I know of Nsukka, I know of some of the local government that find it difficult to pay salary. Because as at that time, there's statutory allocation, there's VAT. And VAT is meant for development. Statutory allocation is meant for paying of salary. Some people don't even have enough to pay salary. And they will take the permission of the governor, because our governor then was late Suleiman, to touch the VAT, because we are told not to touch the VAT for payment of salary. So, because you must have to pay salary, some of them took this permission from the governor to pay salary. And every time, anytime we had the opportunity of having meeting with His Excellency, the President of the country, he will be telling us that the things were very hard. And as a result of that, that is the essence, that is the reflection on the allocation, without knowing the man was siphoning our money.
Sorry, but some people have said he was saving for the country.
Saving how? You know how much that had been sent down to us.
Nigeria was a pariah nation. No country wanted to do business with Nigeria.
But that money many countries are sent to us as Abacha loot, which you know.
Some of the aides then have come out to say that those money were savings for Nigeria for transaction with and for Nigeria.
It's not true. It's not true.
All right, Barrister.
It's not true at all, because several monies have been sent to us as Abacha loot.
Okay.
From many countries.
Okay.
They never said that it was a savings by Abacha.
All right.
They said it was Abacha loot.
Okay.
That was brought back.
All right.
To the country. Severally, not one, not two, not three. This idea, these issues were not known to us. Because we are meant to understand that things were hard. Though the economy as at that time is better than what we are seeing today.
Okay.
I must have to be frank with you. Our naira was strong. The purchasing power of the naira was very strong. Very, very strong. Unlike what we are having now. So incidentally, because of the fact that in 1998 Abacha died, and when Abacha died, the Maradona, IBB, cashed in immediately and made some moves and brought his friend Abu Salam Abubakar to take over without wasting time. It was like another military coup, but palace, no blood was shed. He came in, and we were hoping that when he came in, he will continue with the structure on ground. Because we just lasted for 1 year and 3 months of our 3 years in office. Even the last salary, the last allocation that we were supposed to get, we were unable to get it because there was an embargo placed as at then, and all of us were very apprehensive what will be the next line of action. Incidentally, the man came out and dissolved all local government. It was a big blow. Most of our colleagues died. I survived that incident because of the grace of Almighty. It was not unexpected. Incidentally, the new dispensation that brought us from 1999 came in after dissolution of all the structures. New political parties were formed. PDP, ANPP, and the rest of them. It was called APP. Then, because Abu Salam was not confident in holding power too long, knowing fully well the danger in and that, he was ready to hand over. So, People's Democratic Party was formed. And they allowed the first election that took place was local government election. And PDP actually swept the entire stage, almost everywhere. That was how that of state came thereafter. And that of the national that brought in Olusegun Obasanjo, that was an ex-convict.
An ex-convict?
Yes. He was in prison.
But he was pardoned.
No, even if he was pardoned, ex-convict pardoned.
But
if you say ex-convict, you said pardoned.
Barrister, but many have come out to say that he was not convicted of the crime he was accused of.
How can you say that when he was imprisoned? Because before sentencing, you must first of all be convicted. You can be an ex-convict without being sentenced.
But they said they were political convicts.
No, it doesn't necessarily follow. I said you can be an ex-convict without being sentenced.
Okay.
Yes. The court can convict you and without sentencing you. They're always, because of plea of people, they decide to forget about the issue of sentencing. Okay. But then you are an ex-convict.
Okay.
For the fact that the court has pronounced.
So the ex-president is an ex-convict?
Yes. Olusegun Obasanjo is an ex-convict.
Is that allowed?
Pardoned by the government.
Is that allowed in our constitution?
What? Because of that pardon. That was why he was able to contest the election. He was given pardon to enable him contest the election.
Okay.
Jiwodo was an ex-convict, but he was pardoned. And so many others. So that's what I'm saying. So Olusegun Obasanjo came on board. So many people who were not in PDP then jumped into PDP. People like Ken Naman, my brother, was APP initially. Ikekwere, Senator Ikekwere, was APP. And jumped the ship to PDP. So PDP was very strong. To the extent that he produced the first governor of the state as at then, Dr. Chinua Nnaji, who was at the saddle for 8 years before he handed over to Sullivan Chime after his 8 years. And it was during the time of Chinua Nnaji that I served in several capacities. The special advisor on legal matters. It was Sullivan that handed over to me before when he was made Attorney General in 2003. From there, I became the national auditor. From national auditor, I came down and became commissioner for chieftaincy.
All right.
Commissioner for special duties and commissioner for sports.
You're quite experienced, barrister. Now that you've mentioned it, for want of time, you've mentioned the PDP.
Yes.
Your party.
Exactly.
Your party is in crisis.
Yes, it is.
Is there any solution in sight?
I believe so. Knowing PDP, what the PDP stands for and what it is, because of the machinery they have on board. But unfortunately, the personalities we have now, we are not the personalities we have then. And that was why one single person was able to hold the party in a jugular. And they were unable to do anything about the person.
Barrister, would you call that anti-party activity?
No. The man was smart enough because of the fact that I believe he quickly had, before even when he was a governor, he had an order of court preventing PDP from doing anything. Like Peter Odele has an order of court of a perpetual injunction preventing him from being investigated. So, because of that court order, you can't do anything. But incidentally, let me mention name. My friend, I like him. You're so wicked. Barrister, you're so wicked. I like the man. But there are certain things he would be doing I felt so bad.
Such as?
The issue of trying to scuttle the party that made him, trying to make sure that the party that made him did not breathe.
Barrister, sorry to cut you short. You've said that those were not anti-party activities.
Yes.
But he has come publicly to say that he will stop at nothing to see that a presidential candidate of another party, not of your party, is re-elected in 2027.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That is what I'm trying to tell you. If you have a court order, you must have to obey it.
And what is this court order talking about? The
court order that he should not, nothing should be done to him.
So, Barrister.
That is what I'm trying to tell you. Sorry. But the issue is that instead of the PDP to take steps to know how to nullify that court order, you take steps. When you have a court order that you believe that is not favorable to you, you know what to do to set it aside. If you believe that is the problem you have. In addition, not only that he has court order, in addition, he has stooges in our party. Right. People, though the guy spent for the party, funding the party, and others were sleeping when he was doing that. That was the angle I said I love him. He was funding the party. I don't know how he managed to do it. And he was able to be putting people in the leadership. He was the one that put Uche Secondus.
Yes.
When he felt that Uche Secondus will not be amenable to him to do his bidding, he removed Uche Secondus. He was part of the people that brought Yochayo. And incidentally, during the presidential election, when he manifested his interest, He was the one that made sure that Peter Obi did not even make it in PDP. He frustrated Peter Obi, and Peter Obi had to leave to Labour Party. And as a result of that, he made sure that the committee that we zoned the leadership of the party belongs to him. Because my governor, who incidentally at the end of the day became a member of the G5, that is the former governor.
Okay.
Right Honorable Lawrence Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, became the chairman of the zoning committee of the leadership of the party. And because they were talking of zoning the presidency to the south so that Wike will emerge. But Atiku made them to know, as at that point in time, if you want to zone it to the south, you micro-zone it to a particular zone that has not tested the presidency, which is the southeast. Then, but first of all, the leadership of the party came first. The zoning of the leadership of the party. It was headed by my former governor. And he zoned it to the north, trying to pave way for Wike. And not quickly rallied around and zoned it to North Central, which made the Yochayu to pick it. Then another committee was set up. Wike manipulated his way to and made Otom, former governor of Benue State, to become the chairman of the zoning committee for presidential election. And it was that zoning committee that I'm blaming that caused the crisis of the party. Now, because as at that point in time, they were not strong enough to say, we are zoning this thing to the south. Let the party now reject the recommendation. But the people that we are interested in zoning the presidential election to southeast in particular, because Otom was actually working for Wike, he believed that if he zoned it to southeast, Wike will lose out. What he did was to throw it open, believing that Wike will pick it. That was the recommendation, that it should be thrown open. Whoever emerges in the free and fair contest should take it. They went into the election without zoning. Atiku emerged. Wike became angry because Tambowa made a statement towards the end of the whole exercise that Wike saw as a betrayer, saw as a way that if not because of that stepping down on Tambowa and pronouncing it towards the end of the convention, that he would have beaten Atiku. Then he became angry. Very, very angry. Then he now realized that now Atiku has made it as the presidential candidate from the north. Therefore, the zoning of chairman shouldn't be from the north again. That the Yochai had to step down. But that wasn't the situation before. And that was why Wike lobbied for vice president. He lobbied for it seriously. But he was not given. Then he now pinched tent with Bola Tinubu as a smart person. Bola Tinubu is a smart politician. He himself is a smart politician. Then he now formed those people he had been using, Otom, Ugwuanyi, then brought in Bazu and Makindena and formed the G5. Others were sympathetic to the G5 and was calling, saying that the party has violated its constitution for failure to zone it to the south. This silent thing I'm bringing out, things I'm bringing out, were not meant to the public. Public didn't know this aspect. But the interest is that it was not zoned to the south. Then he started working against the interests of the party. Made sure that the party lost presidential election because especially in his state. APC won his state. Then he now, because for him not to be accused of anti-party, he made sure that the PDP won the state. He brought in Fubra, Semin Fubra.
All right, Barrister, now that you've mentioned Fubra, let's look at Rivers State a bit.
Yes.
Recently, they conducted a local government election.
Yes.
Would you say that a sole administrator appointed by the president conducting a local government election is consistent with the Constitution?
You know, there was this argument Wiki was putting up, which I believe is just so blind argument, that once emergency rule has been pronounced by the president by virtue of section 305 of the Constitution, every other law is suspended with respect to that particular place that the emergency rule was targeted at. In the first place, I read the Constitution, especially that section 305. I did not see where the president had the power to suspend the governor. He can pronounce emergency rule in a particular state and then make use of soldiers and the rest of them. Though he was trying to borrow a leaf from Olusegun Obasanjo, the former governor, former president of Nigeria, who used the emergency rule and suspended Joshua Darie of Plateau State. But incidentally, that action was challenged. But before the court could pronounce on it, it was withdrawn. And that is what the Supreme Court is waiting for, to do the similar thing in Rivers State. Because I know quite well that the 10 governors or 11 governors of the PDP went to court. Immediately that thing happened, because some of them were afraid that if this man has succeeded in removing Rivers State, he can as well apply to other states. And that was why some governors of PDP were afraid, and they were trying to decamp, like that of Delta and Akwa Ibom, to APC, because they believe quite well that especially their second term is not guaranteed from what is happening now, that the president can as well decide to determine what will happen everywhere.
All right, Barrister. Still on issue of Rivers State.
I have not answered your question.
Okay.
The issue of that election by the sole administrator is unconstitutional.
Okay.
And it is in violation of that judgment of the Supreme Court, which give autonomy to local government. In addition to that judgment of the Supreme Court, which says that caretaker committee, okay, that is the judgment of the AG of the Federation, who went to court to ask whether local government that were not elected, properly elected by virtue of Section 7 of the Constitution, is entitled to allocation. And that was why so many states quickly conducted the election in order to be entitled for allocation of powers, funds. And they were saying that it is an aberration for any state to make use of caretaker. Then, if it is an aberration for any state to make use of caretaker, and there are some local government, even Rivers local government, some of their funds were seized because the governor was making use of local government before the governor quickly conducted the election, which was nullified by the Supreme Court for failure to give the necessary notice as provided by the law that regulated the local government, which this sole administrator equally violated. So the sole administrator, you cannot place something on nothing and expect it to stand.
Okay.
The sole administrator is an aberration.
All right. Given what you've said, we've heard that by September 18, the state of emergency in Rivers State would elapse, yes, and one would expect that Fubara would come back. Is he going to take another oath of office?
How can he take oath of office? He cannot take oath of office.
So is it possible?
He's still the governor of the state.
Okay.
He was suspended. Suspension is not expulsion.
Okay.
He's not going to take oath of office. You just go walk into his office and zoom. But they have crippled him.
Crippled him?
Yes! Both the councillor and local government were produced by Wike-led APC. Wike supported APC. Let me not say led.
Right.
Because out of 23 local government, 20 was swept by the APC. Both councillor and chairman. And the no House of Assembly that was equally suspended will come back, is still Wike's loyalist. Though they pretend they wanted to decamp, in short, they have decamped to APC, but they find out the danger in such movement and they came back immediately and still claim that they're members of PDP. That matter was in court before this emergency rule. That emergency rule was applied by the president because he needed Rivers State at all costs, believing that the northern elders and northern people, politicians, are ganging up against him. That it might not be easy for him to gather the number of votes he gathered in the first election in the north. So he is now looking for the south. That was why Akwa Ibom now left PDP. Delta left PDP. So he's calculating, he's making calculation of getting more of his vote from the south than the north. And that is the reason why that action of Rivers was taken.
Okay. Having said that, is it possible to see Fubara going to court to ask for interpretation of his tenure in office?
The problem we have in the court, like I told you, PDP governors went to court for his suspension. A matter that is of urgence, the matter that is very important of that nature, Supreme Court would have given a date and pronounced on it. But Supreme Court knew quite well that they will pronounce against the president.
They will pronounce against the president?
Yes, because it is obvious. The laws, even their own decision, worked against the president. And that is the reason why they are sitting on it. It's very unfortunate that the Supreme Court can sit and on that kind of situation, very important thing, very important issue. When Fubara comes back now, except they will now tell the whoever that is representing the 10 governors that the issue before them is academic. It has been overtaken by event because the person you want are talking is already back.
Yes.
Except though I did not look at the reliefs they sought, because except they sought it in such a way that is for the general interest of others, not maybe specifically for Fubara. Because if I were Fubara when I comes back, I will now go for interpretation of that action of the president suspending me. Let the court interpret it whether it is proper. And if it is not proper, what is the consequence? That everything the sole administrator has done must be nullified. Everything, every decision. And even the money he spent must be accounted for within that period.
But do you see that happening? Given that... Like
no, what I'm saying, the effect is that if he contests it and the court pronounces his favor, you see it happening.
But Barrister, what I'm angling for is seeing that Wike has taken over through APC, the grassroots, the legislature. Do you think he may have that courage to contest this issue?
It depends. The issue of courage is personal.
All right.
I don't know if he has not been talking. He kept quiet. I don't know. Nobody knows his modus operandi. Until he comes back, we know exactly what he's going. People were rumoring that is one of the conditions they gave him that he's going to decamp to APC, and he's not going to come back for second time. I don't know how all those things will play out. You know, because if he has that muzzle, if he can have the muzzle with the emergency of the ADC now, he can join the ADC if you have the muzzle. And the people will now speak. In 2027, people will speak. Right. But nobody knows his
modus
thinking,
operandi, yeah,
what he has in mind.
Right.
Until he comes on board and we start seeing what he is actually up to.
All right, Barrister, there's a lot of things to unravel. Talk about the coalition, talk about more even about defections and other, but for lack of time, I want to come down to Enugu State. And I want to read something to you. You were quoted in Daily Post of March 15th, 2024, that Barr has neglected human development. Do you still stand on that?
Yes, because what he's doing is for the elites.
Can you?
Yes, what all these things he's doing is for the elites. The people that has the majority of the votes cannot go to hotel presidential to lodge. Most of them cannot go to ICC. Look at the rural roads. How many of them have been touched? Where the majority of the voters are. Okay, look at the amount of money they said somebody has siphoned. 5-point-something billion. Which actually I was against the smart school he was talking about. Because if I was there when he was mentioning it, I would say it's not a good idea. Rather, what you have to do is to develop the one that is in existence, make it so functional, employ teachers. Because class school we are talking about is ITC, and you must have to recruit new teachers. You have to, what of electricity? Though you might say solar energy might be employed. How about the teachers that will be there? What of the security of the facilities that we put in there? And the teachers, will they be coming from home? Or will there be teachers' quarters? Which none of the smart school has provided.
Barrister, are you still?
So I'm still of that view. That is not touching the life of the people. And he's so aloof to the political machinery of the state. Very aloof. The governor is very aloof. And that is why up till now he doesn't even know the party he is.
But he's a member of your party.
He is. That's what he pretends to be.
Pretends to be?
Yes, the governor pretends to be the member of PDP. But he's lobbying to decamp to APC. Lobbying seriously.
Because your party is in crisis.
That is not the issue. Why can't you put your own house in order first? And hold this very firmly.
But I have had guests on this program that argue that should Governor Peter Barr decamp to APC, that the PDP in Enugu State is done for.
It's not true. You cannot determine what will happen tomorrow. It's only God.
All right.
It's only God that can determine. If he moves to APC, then some other people will come and they galvanize for PDP. And you'll be surprised. Myself, I cannot leave PDP because Mba decamp to APC, because I know it's a political suicide he's going to commit.
You think he cannot?
Yes, if he go to APC, he will commit political suicide.
How do you mean, Barrister?
You know somebody is there. Uche Wakibia is there.
And
the serving minister.
And you think he will pull more string than the governor?
I don't know. But when the time comes, it's not easy for you to beat him. Peter does not know the game. If he's watching me, he doesn't know the game.
But he was elected.
He doesn't know this game. Do you know the circumstance that brought him?
Tell us, because you were there.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last blood.
What changed?
What changed? Because all of us were ditched. Can you reach Peter Barr? He introduced Zoom meeting that has never happened in politics. I wonder how he's going to campaign. I wonder. Because we asked, no, you were being seen through Zoom. So why are you coming to us now? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. He did the people that helped me to get into power. I don't know how the face he will have to be looking at those people now. Because he wants another vote. And since you have not counted, did those people good. So how do you think those people will come out to support him? And that is the fear he's having. He's having fear.
Barrister, for lack of time, if we were to say, given what he has done, citing the bus rapid system, the bus terminals, the re-unveiling of Voltaire Presidential, the new Enugu air that we've seen, the ICC, are you saying that he doesn't have a pathway?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Give me... It's only the park you can say that common people can access to. It's only the park.
But they've argued that the hotel will give work to
how many?
Commoners.
It depends on the person he gives to manage the place. If he leaves it out to somebody or gives it to an outsider like he did the smart school, which is crying blue more than now, lately, after giving 5.9 billion to somebody that is not from this state. I'm coming. When you lease the hotel to another person that is not from this state, he will look for his own persons because it's business. So don't tell me that he will provide work. How many has he done? Can't you see how the facilities of the state is being managed? By who? Who are managing those things? Are there the voters? Are there the people you can reach for to vote for you? Look, all the things in Enugu air, how many of the middle class, not to talk of the poor people, we even get a work there, not to talk of flying Enugu air. No, I'm not condemning him. It's his own choice. Because if you do all those things, you make money yourself. We have been in office. When you are doing all that kind of contract, some things will be coming to you. Because if you don't do it, you can't get those things.
Barrister, there are a whole lot of things to unravel, but for want of time, let me get your final advice to PDP and the state government. My
final answer to PDP is the fact that if they are unable to, they should be courageous enough to confront Wike and see, is late, and see how far. By now, they ought to have taken decision, and they will be in court, and see how far they can succeed. Secondly, if they cannot do that, they should lobby Wike to their own side. They'll make sure I lobby him. You see, if you can't beat him, you join him. If you can't beat them, you join them. If you cannot take Wike frontally and deal with him, bring him by the side. He's a politician, and lobby him. Though everybody has known his interest. That of the state, I don't know. I don't have any advice to give, but I'm saying that the governor will have a very Herculean task for his re-election.
All right. On that note, this year will come to the end of the program. We've been speaking to Chief Honorable Ray Nnaji, former commissioner of sports in Enugu State, former chairman on Kano West local government, and former national auditor of the PDP. Barrister, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
It's a pleasure.
But I must invite you again because there are a whole lot of issues to, we are looking at Nigeria through your eyes. And there's more we would want to see.
I'm ready to talk the one I know, and especially the aspect that is very objective.
We'll still invite you more.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure. If you've been with us, we've been looking at Nigeria through the eyes of Barrister Ray Nnaji. As you know, we've heard from an expert, a man who has lived these issues. He has been part of formulating these policies, and today he's speaking about it. It's time to hear your views on this matter, how they affect you, and the direction you want us to take the discussion with him next time. Reach us on Aneke on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And remember, your voice matters. I'm still your host, Uche Osai. It will come your way same time tomorrow. Thank you.
Uche, it's a pleasure. Can I have your number?
Yes.
Just right.
The Federal Capital Territory, FCT, is a monumental city of edifice